Hey there, welcome. Pull up a chair. For this explainer, I'm going to step into the role of your senior mentor. We're going to map out exactly how you, as a junior HR professional, can build a highly lucrative and honestly, deeply impactful career in POSH compliance by the year 2026. The corporate compliance industry is just exploding right now, and organizations are actively scrambling for specialized talent to meet strict new regulatory deadlines. So whether you're currently a generalist aiming to specialize, or you're just starting out and looking for a high-growth trajectory, this guide is built specifically for you. We're going to cut right through the noise and look directly at the data and trends shaping your future. This quote from Anjali Bansal perfectly frames our session today. Workplaces are changing fast, and so are the rules that keep people safe. That really hits the nail on the head. As corporate environments rapidly evolve, the demand for specialists who can expertly navigate these new safety rules is absolutely skyrocketing. Think about it. A poorly handled complaint over a private Zoom chat or a subtle pattern of harassment on a Slack channel is fundamentally different from a traditional break room incident, right? It requires a completely different approach. This isn't just about basic compliance anymore. It's about fundamentally protecting people in a highly complex, digitized, modern landscape. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll cover the new landscape. Then, we'll look at career paths and the pay outlook. After that, we'll dive into building your skill stack, map out a certification and experience timeline, explore the day-to-day reality, and finally, wrap up with how you can stand out. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the new landscape, POSH in 2026. So, POSH, as you likely know, stands for the Prevention of Sexual Harassment. Back in 2013, when the law mandating internal committees, or ICs, first kicked in over in India, it was kind of treated as an administrative checkbox. Well, fast forward to today, and that role has completely transformed. It's evolved from a basic duty into a highly specialized, multidisciplinary powerhouse. You simply cannot just rely on standard HR policy knowledge anymore. To succeed now, you have to seamlessly blend employment law, human resources strategy, advanced investigation techniques, and, believe it or not, serious tech literacy. And this is exactly why generalist HR knowledge just isn't going to cut it anymore. Look at what you're managing today. You've got digital complaint channels where evidence lives on cloud servers, and hybrid investigation methods where you might literally be interviewing someone via video link halfway across the globe. You've also got a much stronger linkage to data privacy now. Plus, there is sector-specific guidance for the gig economy and tech sectors, right alongside mandatory periodic audits. You're navigating digital evidence and strict ESG reporting mandates simultaneously. That means an organization's environmental, social, and governance practices, including its safety culture, are being heavily scrutinized by investors and regulators all at once. It's a whole new ballgame. Moving on to Section 2, Career Paths and Pay Outlook. What to expect? Now, this is probably the most critical part of our mentoring session, mapping out your actual career options and what you can expect to earn. You essentially have two main avenues to go down, internal and external. Internally, you can climb the corporate ladder as an in-house POSH lead, overseeing broad policies, training, and internal investigations. You could even align this seamlessly with an EDI, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Specialist role, because building a truly inclusive culture goes hand in hand with harassment prevention. Externally, though, you can leverage your skills as a dedicated POSH investigator or an independent consultant. A lot of companies are actually hiring external panelists now, just to completely avoid any perception of company bias and ensure absolute neutrality. And the financial growth in this specialization is incredibly tangible. It scales significantly across those roles. If you're starting out as a junior investigator or HR specialist in India, you're looking at an entry package of roughly 4 to 8 lakhs per annum. But look at that jump. As you move into an in-house POSH lead or senior counsel role, it easily scales to 12 to 30 lakhs or even higher in multinational firms. And if you go the external route, experienced independent consultants are pulling in really strong returns through high hourly fees and lucrative corporate retainer models. That means a company pays you a set monthly fee just to be on standby as their external expert, guaranteeing your income while providing them with immediate, unbiased counsel whenever an issue pops up. All right, let's get into Section 3, Building Your Skill Stack, In-Demand Skills. To command those higher salaries and confidently handle external consulting retainers, we need to focus heavily on the specific toolkit you've got to build. You have to push way beyond basic HR operations. Yes, obviously you need to deeply understand the POSH Act, service rules, labor laws, and general grievance redressal. But look at these other pillars. Investigation skills, meaning strict evidence preservation and meticulously neutral report writing, are absolutely non-negotiable. You've also got to develop data privacy and cyber savviness. Complaints today involve digital metadata. You need to know exactly when a message was sent, edited, or deleted, so you need basic e-discovery tech skills to legally retrieve that electronic evidence, plus familiarity with secure case management platforms. And honestly, perhaps most importantly, your soft skills must include trauma-informed interviewing. You have to know how to ask questions without re-traumatizing a survivor, while still getting the critical facts you need for the investigation. Next up, Section 4, Certification and Experience Timeline, your learning path. So let's translate those skills into a concrete action plan you can actually start executing today. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint, so don't try to tackle it all at once. For your first 1 to 2 months, just start with short, targeted courses. Get a basic certification in data privacy and take specialized training in trauma-informed response and mediation. Then, in months 3 to 6, invest in a fully accredited POSH Investigator course. Ideally, try to find one that features a legal faculty and practical simulations. Finally, from month 6 onwards, it is all about practical experience. Volunteer on your company's internal committee, work on mock investigations, or shadow an experienced investigator. Theory is fantastic, but logging practical hours is what's actually going to get you hired. Now for Section 5, Day-to-Day Reality. What a week looks like. Before you fully commit to that timeline, I want to make sure you know exactly what a week in this high-impact role entails. It is definitely not just sitting in meetings or filing paperwork. Your daily reality will be a mix of highly focused desk work and intense stakeholder management. It starts with the critical intake and triage of sensitive complaints. Then you're actively collecting digital and physical evidence and conducting those complex, trauma-informed interviews we talked about. From there, you're drafting detailed investigation reports. And I can tell you from personal experience, writing a meticulously neutral report is a lot harder than it sounds. Literally, every single adjective you use is going to be heavily scrutinized by legal teams and executives awake. Finally, you're constantly liaising with leadership and preparing for strict compliance reporting and mandatory audits. So yes, it's emotionally demanding, but it's also incredibly rewarding because you're actively shaping a fundamentally safe workplace culture. Finally, Section 6, Standing Out in the Field, Ways to Get Ahead. As your mentor, I really want to leave you with some insider advice on how to bypass the competition and immediately stand out to hiring managers. Because look, anyone can just list a certification on a resume, right? To truly stand out, you have to prove your capability. So actively build a portfolio of completely anonymized, highly redacted mock case studies that show off your analytical skills without breaching real-world confidentiality. Network aggressively in POSH practitioner groups and legal associations. And don't just passively scroll. Publish short, practical updates on LinkedIn to establish your own thought leadership. Employers absolutely notice that kind of initiative. Also, make sure you prove your fluency in modern case management technology and secure communication platforms. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Start small, take that very first course, and begin building a legacy of safety. Because ultimately, in a field this incredibly sensitive, your reputation matters so much more than your paper credentials. So as you step into the 2026 workplace, ask yourself, will you rely merely on your titles, or will you build a reputation rooted in unshakable ethics and true empathy?